the prosecution's star witness in Donald Trump's hush money trial has taken the stand in New York. Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, has completed his first day of testimony, and this is testimony in the case involving porn star Stormy Daniels and hush money. For more on this, I'm joined by former White House Chief of Staff and now Bondi Partners consultant Mick Mulvaney. He was once Trump's right-hand man, and it seems that he dropped him right in it in this testimony, didn't he?
He did. In fact, he did something very interesting today. For the second time, the jury heard a surreptitiously recorded conversation that Michael Cohen had with Donald Trump. I'm not sure it moved many of the jurors because, again, it was the second time they had heard this, but it is getting a lot of attention here. Keep in mind, Michael Cohen is one of the key witnesses against Donald Trump. He's the one that the prosecution hopes can establish the link between Trump's handling of this money from a business accounting perspective and the 2016 election. That's one of the things the prosecution has to show here, is that Trump lied about the business records in order to gain an advantage politically. So Michael Cohen being the key witness, here's the issue, Laura. This is a jailed perjurer. The man has sat in prison before for admitting that he's lied under oath. It's really, really hard to let that be your key witness in a criminal case, but that's exactly what the Attorney General is trying to do here.
It certainly is. Riddle me this. Why isn't there lawyer-client privilege here in this case, or does that ship sail a long time ago?
Lawyer, for a variety of reasons. Part of the argument could be that Michael Cohen wasn't acting as a lawyer; he's acting as a fixer, which is not really a legal role. But probably the way they got around it instead was under the American jurisprudence system. You can breach that particular privilege if it's in the furtherance of a crime. So the lawyer is conspiring, for example, with a client in order to commit a crime, or the client is telling the lawyer he wants to commit a crime. That kind of stuff sometimes is not privileged. So my guess is there's a couple different ways around it, but that defense has not come up recently in this trial.
You say it was surreptitiously recorded by Cohen himself, I assume. What explanation does he give for doing this secretly at the time?
Yeah, he said it was the only time he's ever recorded Donald Trump. But of course, if you believe
he's a liar,
Cohen, he shouldn't be in jail. But he said he wanted to take the tape recording to the gentleman who owned the tabloid that was going to assist in the catch and kill, the buying of the story from Stormy Daniels, so that it couldn't become public. So, yeah, I think the juries are probably asking the same question. Keep in mind, and I'm not familiar with criminal procedure in Australia, but here a reasonable doubt is enough to get a defendant off of any criminal charge. And Michael Cohen just sort of reeks of reasonable doubt.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump keeps on saying that these are Biden's lawsuits and, you know, Biden is stitching him up through the court. Of course, that is a very long bow to draw, but it's all in the context of the presidential election in November. We're now just a couple of months away. Is this hurting him one bit?
No, in fact, there's some good data out today in just the last 24 hours about the swing state polls. And you and I have talked about the importance of sort of ignoring national polls in this country and looking at the swing states. And of the 6 states that we generally expect are going to be very close and will determine the outcome of this election, Donald Trump is now up in 5 of those 6, including 3 with quite comfortable margins of +6, +7, +8%. So he's continued to use these, what he calls lawfare, these weaponized criminal actions against him to his political benefit, and seems to be doing well in those critical swing states.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? Was it North or South Carolina that he held a rally in was it just last weekend?
We tried to come to North Carolina, but North Carolina would be a swing state, so that would make more sense.
I mean, there are 100,000 people there. 100,000. That's Tay-Tay levels of fandom, really.
Actually, it's more interesting than that. It wasn't North Carolina. That was in New Jersey.
Oh, right. Sorry, New Jersey. Nowhere near you.
On the list of Democrat states, there's California, Illinois, New York. Those are the big 3. And then after that is New Jersey. So this was right in the heart of Biden country. And he pulled 100,000 people. And that's not his number, by the way. That was the city police that came out with a number of between 80 and 100,000 people for an outdoor rally, I think it was Saturday afternoon in New Jersey. Just a huge, huge showing of support for the Trump in a typical Democrat area.
It's going to be one interesting year, Mick Mulvaney. I look forward to talking to you next week. See you then.